This is Dr. Torbert on behalf of Dr. William Carter, our principal, and Dr. Lisa Steele Reimer, our assistant principal. Here is our collaborative planning information for September 23rd, 2020. Of which, moving forward for September the 30th, 2020, we will have our C learning 7:30 to 7:45 a.m. Please take note of that. Our faculty meeting will begin at 7:45 to 8:45 a.m. That allows for us to have those discussions of important details and information that needs to be given out. Our collaborative planning schedule is as follows. Third grade from 9 a.m. to 9:30. Fifth grade, 9:30 to 10 o'clock. Fourth grade, 10 o'clock to 10:30. Kindergarten, 10:30 to 11 o'clock. Second grade, 12 o'clock p.m. to 12:30, and in first grade from 12:30 to 1 p.m. For our SWD CSIP priority meetings, it would be for grades 3 through 5 from 1:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. for our special education teachers. Thank you so much. Please take note of this. You can screenshot it or take a picture of it, or you can just refer back to the video. Thank you so much. Information to be discussed as follows. The CSIP, grades, lesson plans, and subplans, enumerate testing, map testing, gallery review, TEATS, virtual walkthroughs, teacher of the week and month, cluster gathering, which will be Friday, September 25th, 2020, and our collaborative planning times for Wednesday. Of which our CSIP, we will go in further detail with that momentarily. Our grades, please make sure they're uploaded within Infinite Campus today and posted by 4 p.m. per Dr. Reimer. And for our lesson plans and subplans, there is a video that is available for that, just in case if you need a visual. However, you can find that in the Allgood Elementary Red Schoolhouse from the main employee page at the very bottom right-hand corner. For our Illuminate training, testing, and I did attend training, so I'm thinking about two different things, but nevertheless, as noted in our faculty meeting, further information will be given for that, so just take note of that, and we'll just wait patiently for that information to be given to us from Dr. Reimer. For map testing, keep in mind you need to have the gallery view, and that was mentioned in the faculty meeting as well. If you do not see that, please immediately take note that you need to make contact with the help desk so that you begin to get that information situated so that you can see that. However, you do need to have Teams app downloaded onto your desktop, and it works better without using a Chrome notebook. We did figure that out, a couple of us, but most definitely make sure that you can see that gallery view for testing. And please make sure you refer to Dr. Reimer's emails as it relates to map testing. And if you need me to send them back out to you, I do not mind doing so that you can take a look at the various attachments that she sent as relates to the documents you need during testing, how to prepare for testing, how to get your kids engaged into preparing for testing, getting them excited, and so they can have a peaceful and a relaxing weekend mentally, so they can be refreshed come Monday, so they can do their very best on this test. And so just infuse that growth energy mindset, and they feed off your energy, and so that'll be really great. And reach out to me if you need some support with some incentives. I definitely do not mind helping in that avenue and aspect to support you in your classroom environment. But nevertheless, I'm sure your positive energy will be infused within the testing environment, and they will in return perform their best in that testing environment. But make sure you refer back to the emails that were sent. And if you have a question or need me to check into something with Dr. Reimer, by all means, you can definitely ask me. And thank you so much for those who have been in support in that area already. As it relates to TEATS and virtual walkthroughs, we know that we are going into that as well. And so, as mentioned in our faculty meeting this morning, further information will be given. Please make sure that you update the virtual directory, which is our editable Excel file, so that your current information is filed in there. And that'll be great. Thank you so much for doing that. For Teacher of the Week and Month, these plans are still forthcoming. We definitely want to support, on behalf of our lead administration, Dr. Carter and Dr. Reimer. We definitely realize your hard work and your efforts, and we want to be of a support. And I definitely want to be of a support. And I realize that self-care is very important while we're in this virtual setting. And so I will be sending out after this video, just an encouraging video, just something that you can relax to. But nevertheless, just keep in mind that that is in the atmosphere of our thoughts, and so that we can begin to recognize your efforts as we celebrate and recognize the efforts of our students as well. For the cluster gathering, I want to say thank you to so much to those who have email me and to notify me that they can support on Friday. And that is just great. I realize that your time is extremely valuable, especially a Friday evening where, you want to let your hair down and, get into your family and self-care and just into yourself. And so just to pour your time into volunteering is just very commendable. And I just want to say thank you just for supporting in this endeavor, and just really appreciate that. And so nevertheless, if you can't, it's okay. And that's fine as well. And make sure if you can remind your parents, and we're putting it out. Thank you, Miss McGrady, Carmen McGrady. We actually are putting out through our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, to come on out and partake. And we realize that some families are in dire need of support, whether it be it food or clothing. And so we just want to make sure that we can give back as much as possible, and just pay it forward, and just to see those beautiful smiles as they go through the drive-through line. Still going to execute that social distancing aspect, but just to say, hey, we're here, we're thinking about you, and we realize we're approaching the last quarter of the year, and going into new season, and just not realizing people's needs, and so just to be a support in that aspect is really great. We will have Tyler the Turtle out, and doing some a little dancing and reading and math, and just encouraging healthy eating habits, and just being positive. The showcase will go virtual. It will be live, and so you'll be able to see it. Make sure you connect with us on Instagram, connect with us through Twitter and Facebook, so that you can partake in these festivities on tomorrow evening. And we're just really excited about that on Friday evening, September the 25th. So thank you so much for that. As it relates to collaborative planning times for Wednesday, just want to take note of that. As we move forward, we know that the driving mission and vision behind the schools is the CSIP, and we want to ensure that we're implementing that with as much fidelity as possible in this virtual setting, and even as we move back into the brick and mortar. Okay. So moving forward, today for September the 23rd, 2020, our comprehensive school improvement plan for Allgood Elementary School. Again, we thank Dr. Carter and Dr. Reimer just for the opportunity just to come together, and we realize this is a collective effort. And so just to be able to work together to see that growth in our students. And I'm going to actually, after I show this, I'm going to show you something else. And so just some information that we can move forward into look into as we continue to go through our CSIP. Okay. For our rationale, school improvement efforts are a collaborative process involving multiple stakeholders. Through the improvement planning process, leaders focus on priority needs, funding, and closing achievement gaps among identified subgroups of students. When implemented with fidelity, the Comprehensive School Improvement Plan, which is a CSIP, cultivates an environment that promotes student growth and achievement. Long-term, our operational definition goes long-term 3 to 5 year targets based on the required school level goals. Elementary, middle schools must have goals for proficiency, separate academic indicators, achievement gap, and growth. High schools must have goals for proficiency, separate academic indicator, achievement gap, graduation rate, and transition readiness. Okay. For our objective, short-term target to be attained by the end of the current academic school year, which is 2020-2021. There can be multiple objectives for each goal. Evidence-based intervention, an approach to systematically address the process, practice, and condition that the school will focus its efforts upon in order to reach its goals or objectives. There are multiple strategies for each objective. Priority area number 1, and I know that this information is familiar to you, but we have to keep it at the forefront of our minds and our thoughts and our actions, and even in our instructional practices, okay? So just bear with me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. An approach to systematically address the process, practice, or condition that the school will focus its efforts upon in order to reach its goals or objectives. There can be multiple strategies for each objective, and reading content mastery. By the end of the 2019-2020 and 2020-2021 school year, increase. This is what we got to do. We got to increase the percentage of our subgroups, and this is really key. For Black, Hispanic, Asian, SWD, our EL department, excuse me for that, and economically disadvantaged, meeting and or exceeding projected growth on the MAP assessment. Okay, so this is why it's really key. Just to infuse that positive energy, just to get our kids ready, so we can show that growth as we're moving forward. And I really believe we're going to be able to do so. And so it'll be really great. Okay. So action steps. How can we do this? Well, collectively, we will initiate ongoing school-wide classroom closed reading implementation. This is action step number 1. And also provide resources, including a standard uniform anchor chart for the closed reading steps for the school year of 2019-2020, moving forward into 2020, where we are currently to 2021. And I have revised our closed reading implementation support anchor chart for us, and I'll be sending it out separately to this video. Thank you so much. Now, teachers, what is closed reading? That's really key. So I'm going to give you a few moments to think about that so we can think and share. What is closed reading? Strategy number 1, closed reading. Okay, so in your viewing, definitely take a look at this picture. Great information, the difference between guided reading and closed reading, okay? Closed reading is thoughtful, critical analysis of a text that focuses on significant details or patterns in order to develop a deep, precise understanding of the text form, craft, meanings, and etc. It is a key requirement and directs the reader's attention to the text itself, okay? So this video really dives deep into that. So I definitely wanted you to take some moments to look at this video and where we convene with these efforts on next Wednesday. So closed reading, actively interacting with the text. Closed reading is a multi-step process that involves reading the text more than one time. Okay, so we know that the text is difficult. We're diving deep into it, and we're reading it more than one time. Closed reading will always involve marking up the text. Always. That's the key word there for us, right? For the kids, always involve marking up the text, as known as annotating the text. To annotate means to supply with critical and explanatory notes that explain. Annotating is more than highlighting. Annotating is your thinking and your conversation with the text in the margins of the page. And I do it all the time as an avid reader, of which I know you guys are as well. I am constantly tackling difficult texts or either learning new information. So yes, I'm chunking it. I'm writing off to the side of those texts just so I can get a thorough understanding of what I'm reading. And I too reread. And I know we practice 3 reads. I actually go 4 and 5. I just need to go back sometimes, just to reflect, think, or just to digest that information and try to correlate and make references to it so I can begin to understand it. And so to do that annotation on the side, my thinking, my conversation with the text, that's powerful. And I train not only my personal kids to do it, but even kids I work with, just saying, okay, well, what are your thoughts? And I said, put your thoughts, put your ahas, put your mind processes to the side of the text so that you can begin to thoroughly dissect that text to understand it, okay? Now, here are examples. Yes, but what does it look like? Okay, so they, and I'm a visual learner as well. So just taking a moment to say, okay, let me visualize my thoughts to the test. I feel like when I read a book, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, pleasure or non-pleasure, if I didn't mark up that text or underline or take some notes or put my little ahas, to me, I didn't fully grasp it. I didn't take a hold to it. I didn't become embedded with the text or passionate with the text. It wasn't a relationship between me and the text. And so even for myself to develop the sense of becoming an avid reader, that came over the course of time. It really came more or less in my latter years in high school into college. I had to embrace a love for it that was not previously given or nurtured in the classroom environment. No fault to anyone, just myself. I was more of a math person. And so to really get into reading, because I did love and learning new information, I had to begin to tackle the text, especially as I began to be presented with new information. How can I begin to tackle information so that I can understand it, And so, I come from a culture of, you don't just immediately ask questions, you try to figure it out. So I'm more or less like the picture you see in the middle. I'm going to underline so I can divide that text up. I'm going to circle either powerful terms or robust vocabulary or terms I'm unfamiliar with so I can begin to advance my vocabulary. And so, I can, learn a little bit more. And so I began to tackle it by taking notes to the side. Okay, reference this, refer back to this. What does this mean? Even a question mark so I can refer back to it. I do, in the previous years within my teaching, have taught students, okay, especially in ELA, I embrace art. I embrace art in ELA, and I begin to embrace art in all subjects. We're going to make this where it is meaningful to you. So if you need to color your notes, I'm okay with it. And I know in a virtual sense, this may be a little bit more challenging, but if you begin to infuse it and show examples, students begin to embrace it and they say, hey, I can have fun with ELA. I can have fun with math. I can enjoy science. I can enjoy social studies. And so I began to teach them and to train them to color your notes. And that's what you see for the first and third example. And now in my initial years of teaching, that was a big no-no. You separate those subjects from this subject. This is ELA. I shouldn't see drawings on your letters. I shouldn't see drawings on your essays. You turning your notes, I shouldn't see drawings. Now I know to each his own, but I'm just as a suggestion. My students over the course of the years began to embrace the love for it because they was able to take ownership of it. And it was more than just an interactive notebook. It was more than just doing an essay or just taking notes or just reading the text. They began to really become embedded with what they're reading and develop a relationship with that text, no matter how long it was, so they can begin to be powerful with it and understand it more. So just take 3 minutes, of course, to reflect on that. And of course, our time will be a little shorter, so you probably have to stop the video. So close reading includes, what does it include? Using short passages and excerpts, diving right into the text with limited pre-reading activities, focusing on the text itself, rereading deliberately, okay? Reading with a pencil. You can add in there colored pencil, crayons, markers. If you want to do that, we can do that. Colored pencils, crayons, markers. Noticing things that are confusing, and it's okay. I think, for some of our environments, for lack of better terms, we shun the love to read because the fear of tackling the unknown. Instead of looking at it as a right or wrong, either I can or cannot, but start to look at it as I'm getting better at, I'm trying, I'm developing in this area, and that becomes great because even for a non-reader or for someone who just does not like to do it, or for someone who's progressing in their style level of development, if they can begin to look at that test, once again, it's a relationship, and just to take ownership of what they do know, to expand on what they don't know, the love for reading changes. It just does. It does. time. And so we have time to do that, which is great because we can definitely see progress utilizing this strategy as our priority area number one. Discussing the text with others or think, pair, share, or turn to talk frequently, small groups in whole class, and responding to the text as text-dependent questions. All right. I know most of you guys have seen this, and this is what I'm going to be sending separately. Our close reading, a chart that we'll have for one of our non-negotiables, which would be great. This is the exact same one that you guys were already using. I just updated it a little bit for you. And so really excited about this. Our students are going to do this, and they're going to do it well. Carefully, attention to the text. Okay, that's for I see. Reread. L, look close for important details. O, observe what the author is trying to tell you, to infer that. And S, stay focused and on task while reading. That's really important. And that's building the stamina. That takes time, to build that type of stamina. It just takes time. You might start off with 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And that's why our whole DEAR initiative is really great, because if you see students doing it, okay, well, yeah, I want to do it. It is cool. I'm a virtual R-star. I like to read. And just the picking up the handling of a book is so important, which is our traditional format. But then virtually, just to be able to look at a screen and adjust your eyes and having great posture, and just being able to chunk that text. And if you need to reread it and feel comfortable doing that, even at the stage that you're on. And then E, evidence and justification needed to be found in the text. For our second one, read for 3. Yes, I read 4 or 5, but hey, just a little joke on the side, but whatever works, And for that, it includes read to determine the main idea, read the text and pay close attention to the details, and then read the text once more. That's your third read. And, you can always just, it could be a rule of thumb. Did you read for 3? Or if I pop into the classroom, to see how you're doing, be like, not to disturb, but like, okay, holding up 3 fingers, read for 3. That's just powerful. Kids like little nuances. They like little symbols. They like to be apart, so you just hold up those 3 fingers, read for 3, read for 3. And that way they're able to tackle those difficult texts. Now, we know that closed reading is not closed reading. We know that. It's not. That's not what it is. Okay. And so just to begin to embrace that. And it's not simply highlighting. So we're not just running through with some yellow caution lights. No, we're not doing that either. Okay. But if we are using highlights, because I like the highlights too, we're doing it with a purpose. The outcome should look something like this: writing the margins, chunking information, numbering the paragraphs, circling important words, writing those margins. Okay. And those are the kind of things I look for when students say they're having a difficult time in the test. Well, okay, you're not just going to sit and reread it to me. Did you write in the margins? Did you chunk the information? Did you number the paragraphs? I want to see that you put forth your effort, because it's a collective effort. So if you tried, and then we could try together, hey, that number 3 for us should be really great. And taking time to see closed reading with closed reading of questions. You can definitely refer back to this as a guide. And moving on to our next steps. We want to have our read all day, keep up with that initiative. It is in our CSIP plan as well, whether we do it virtually or in person. That will be forthcoming. Develop a cohesive reading plan, which is our goal. And that's what we're doing with our collaborative planning. And we're going to do that and just do it with fidelity and make it meaningful for our students. And then having grade level incentives, for students' participation, which is really, really important, even in the virtual setting. And then what are some ways that we can scaffold students in closed reading? And finally, how can we differentiate closed reading as well? And it is possible. And we're going to dive deep into that. Guys, I thank you so much just working with me and supporting this as we move forward with our CSIP initiative for priority area number 1, which is reading content mastery, looking at our action steps as it relates to tasks to implement to improvement strategy, of which is closed reading. Please take some time to review this, go back over this, and by all means, guys, reach out to me if you have any questions as we debrief on next week, okay, and move forward within our CSIP. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.